Hello, hello. Today is May 23rd, 2020, and we have Norm Winsky with us, and it must be his time in the stars to tell us what's going on. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Thanks for having me on your show. When I was last on there, we had a whole bunch of stuff happening there in early to mid-May, and we're going to review that. You had all the notes there. If you were studious, you went over these timing windows and saw how they all worked out. I gave you the time window and then the market to watch for. So here we go. If you will print these out or take a screenshot of these different things, we can go much faster. I won't have to keep repeating what they were. So now I'm going to go basically mostly in alphabetical order. Cattle is first in alphabetical order. And we had a point there for, I think that was Venus, turning retrograde. What is retrograde? Due to the relative motion of the Earth passes planets, they pass us. Just like when you're driving on the highway, if you look out your side window, somebody passes you, you might get the impression that you're going backwards. Einstein would say that that's right. So there we go. So, and conversely, if we pass somebody, it may look like for a moment that they stop their motion and then revert and go the opposite direction. So that's what the important moment is, where it's like throwing a ball in the air and it has zero momentum for a second before it reverses. That's what I watch for. It's called a station point, when the planets look like from Earth that they've stopped their motion before they reverse their direction. And that's one of my top things I say: when the planets change trend, the markets change trend. One of my other top things is when the planets get to zero latitude. As you'll see there in item 1A, Mercury is zero north latitude. The planets are like horses on a carousel. They go round and round, but they also go up and down. When they get to what's called the midpoint, the ecliptic, that seems to be a powerful energy point. So that's also a very powerful point where the markets may change trend. Okay, so that's kind of the general idea. And then on 2A there, we have the planets Mars goes through the signs, changes signs about every 5 weeks. So if it goes into a particular sign connected to a commodity, watch for a change in trend. And Mars is, by the way, the energizer planet, so that could energize that market, and we'll see how that worked out also. All right, that's just sort of the general principles, and then we also have the last one there. 2D is a Uranus to the U.S. That's to the U.S. natal chart. What is a natal chart? We take a snapshot when something was born or when something began. In this case, when the U.S. was founded on the 4th of July, 1776, we take a snapshot of the planets at that moment, and that's a blueprint for that item, for that entity, forever until it's no longer with us. So there we go. All right, so here we go. Here, Venus turned retrograde. Venus is a ruling planet for Taurus, the bull, which is cattle. And there we go. So there's the arrow there, right on the. We look to trade these on the opening. It says AC after the close, and so that's overnight. So we'll be looking to trade it on the opening the next day, and that would have been right there on the opening of the 12th. And the 12th AC, the 13th, I'm sorry, the 13th, opening of 13th, it was the 12th AC after close. And you can see there, that was a nice 1 to 2 day high there for the cattle. Here's your cocoa. That was, we had a full moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is cocoa, hogs, and bonds. And right there, the night of the 6th, we had the full moon. And then the next morning, you would have bought near the low of the cocoa, and then you had a nice run up. Here's coffee, was probably my best one. Right there, you're looking at Saturn turned retrograde. Saturn is the ruling planet for coffee. On the weekend of the 8th, it turned retrograde, and then the coffee topped out there on Monday. Actually topped out on Friday, but you would have sold it within a small amount on Monday's opening, and then it went down, down, down until the next point for coffee was Jupiter turned retrograde in Capricorn, and Capricorn is the ruling sign for coffee. So you got the high, you got the low. It doesn't get much better than that. Here's copper. Again, Saturn turned retrograde, but it was because it was in the sign Aquarius, which is the ruling sign for copper. Copper topped out there on the weekend of the 8th, and then went down to the next point, which was Venus is a co-ruler of copper, so it made it a low. We were 1 day early there, not too far from the bottom the next day, and then up, 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 and away. Here's your corn. Corn, the grains like Mercury and the moon. And there, the corn made a little bit of a short-term low there, 1 day low, popped up, then came back down for a retest low on the full moon, and then it had a nicer rally into the next point, which was Mercury at perihelion. What is that? That's from the Greek. Para means close. Helio is sun. Perihelion is when Mercury in its 88-day cycle around the sun is at its closest point. And there we go. There's a nice high there for the corn. Here's your cotton. Is a Venus market, and that topped out right when Venus went retrograde for about a day or two. And the gold was pretty nice there right on the full moon. You made it not the lowest low of the month, but sort of the second lowest low of the month. And it popped out. It had a retest low there on the, what was that? The gold, looking at my guide here. Oh, yeah, Mercury perihelion. The sun is gold because it's golden, and Mercury was close to the sun, perihelion, over the weekend of the 8th, and that was the retest low for gold, and then it took off big time. There's the hogs there. I mentioned the full moon in Scorpio, and then you had a nice top there in the hogs. So you might want to, later on, you can go count up the green arrows and the red arrows, which I will give you that at the end here. Here's oats. Oats, we had a top there on the Mercury point there. Then we made a low on the full moon. We had a miss here. I have every now and then I have a miss. That's a red arrow. And then when the market's going sideways, I do nothing. That's a yellow bar there. That's a window where we can't figure out what's going on, so that we do nothing. And that's because we're doing Newton's law. For every action, there's an opposite equal reaction, and you need the market that gets to some sort of extreme in order to be able to predict it's going to reverse and go the other way. Here's your crude oil. Now, the crude oil, usually, like I say, I don't like sideways. I made an exception here for the crude oil. For the first signal here, earlier, it's going sideways. We do nothing. But now Mars is going into Pisces, Energizer planet, into the sign of oil at around the 13th, and now we're in a wedgie triangle pattern, and now whichever way it breaks out, it's probably going to get a big move, and that it broke out the next day, and then we had the big run up there in oil. Here's your beans, made a low on the it's going. If you bought it there, you probably would have been inclined to buy it because we just had a big down, and it didn't make you any money, so I got to count that as a miss. But then we went to the full moon, and that was a much better one. We made a nice low there, and then we popped up for a top into the weekend of the 8th on Mercury perihelion. That was a Mercury point. Then here's the S&P. We have lots of signals for the stock market because the stock market is the big basket of everything. It responds to all this stuff, whereas the commodities are specific, narrow filters. They only respond to certain things. Here you had a high here due for the S&P, and we had a little one-day high there, pullback. And the recent volatility, a one-day swing can be a big thing. Right? There we have a miss here on the right around the full moon, looks like. And then we went up here for a triple signal here for the weekend, right around the 8th. And that worked out pretty nicely. But then Venus retrograde was one day early, and so that was a miss. But then probably our nicest one of all is right here on the 14th. Now, the 14th, that was the bottom of that move down. And by the way, on this top here, I sent out to my clients, and I think, Jeff, you get this. I forecasted that 2946 would be a key number on the S&P, and that's pretty much where we topped out there on that high. And I think the cash got to 2945.82. I missed it by 18 cents. And the futures Sunday night, they topped at 2947, so that was pretty good. I use the position of the planets, convert them. I have a formula to convert them to price. Anyway, we bottomed here on the 14th. In the morning, as forecasted, I had 14th a.m. It was even on my short-term stuff, moon and sun and so forth. Moon was exactly 90 degrees to the sun at a quarter moon at 10:04 a.m. That's the exact minute that low was made. Then we go up. Now I got green boxes here. I pay attention to these green boxes. That's because we just had a new moon on Friday afternoon. So this box is open for a window, a change in trend window. Don't know what it's going to be yet. If we're at some extreme, it's probably going to reverse. A lot of these markets, unfortunately, are kind of going sideways, like the S&P. They're kind of hard to say which way it's going to go right now. Here's your sugar, made a low here, and on Venus. Venus is sugar. And right within a day of the low, you're buying it and going long. Here's T-bonds, not so good on the bonds. We made a low there on the full moon in Scorpio, that's bonds. But then we had a signal here, and that was the problem is with the bonds, the volatility is so big that you could be on the right day, and it moves so much, you did not want to risk the two handles, that's $2,000. And so I'm going to count that as a miss. Even though I had the right day, I was just like a half a day or so early. Same thing, the same deal here. We had the right, well, we were close. One day, about 2 days early here.
5 more minutes, Norm.
What's that?
5 more minutes, Norm.
Okay, good. Thank you. Here's the wheat. I missed on the mercury point. Then we just went sideways, so we got the yellow bar there. Then we got a mercury perihelion, mercury point for wheat, and that was nice top there. And then we had the Venus point. That's a co-ruler for wheat, and then we were a little early there, so that's a miss. And then we got the green box there for the grains and the grains and the precious metals and financial all dance to the moon. Now here's your dollar. Like I just mentioned, the currencies dance to the moon. Here's your dollar index, made a top there on the moon. And here's another point I had for the U.S. natal chart. That was a low, and then we went up here for another point. Oh, that was another U.S. point there for the top. So I basically had the high, the low, and the high for the dollar in the last couple of weeks. Here's the moon for the currencies. Here's your Aussie dollar. Bing, bang, bong, right on the low. Watch out for the currencies. We got the new moon, just had the new moon on Friday. Here's your Canadian dollar, same deal, made the low right on the moon. Here's the euro, made the low right on the moon. Here's your Japanese yen, a few ticks off and 1 day late on the yen for the moon. Here's the Swiss franc, right on the low day for the Swiss franc, and so forth. And here's my quick sample of my day trading. Here's Friday, and that's a new moon there at 1:39, but we're not going to do that one. We're going to look at 2:39 p.m. I'm going to get a little crazy here, show you that this U.S. natal chart thing really works. So, but we have to have time and the right price pattern. So there we have 2:39. So let's go look at the chart, what happened at 2:39. So then the market rallies up into 2:39 right there. That's the high bar there, 2:39. We're going short at 29.50, and you have to have a certain price pattern which filters out some of the losing trades. And the folks want to call me and get the free day trading class. I'll tell you the secret. It's a very simple pattern there that helped me find that trade. So anyway, 2:39, and you can see it kind of diddled around for a few minutes, and then some big seller came in, and boom, it did about 4 handles in about 4 seconds there. And then we look to get out. We have a formula tied to the VIX. The higher the VIX, the less time we allow to get in to stay in these trades. And so I said I got 7 minutes at a 30 VIX, and so they were looking out to get there. And so we got short at 50, out at 45 and a quarter. That's 4 3/4. So a little bit, about $237 in about 7 minutes, right? A little better than minimum wage. All right, here's what's coming up. We just had the new moon on Friday. You got your financials, grains, and precious metals. Look for the ones that are adding extreme. If there's going sideways, you got to wait for a breakout of something. Hard to predict when they're just going sideways. At the end of the week is the next thing we have. We got Neptune lining up with the U.S. natal moon. We had that around Labor Day last year. Go look at your chart. You had big turns. I think in the bonds, at that point, I was like an all-time high for the bonds before they had a big correction. And so the stock market made a turn there, and I think the dollar. All right, so looking ahead, here's how you can get a hold of me. I'm here in today it's raining, but normally sunny Naples, Florida, and you can call me right away. I got classes starting first week of June, so call me right away just so you can get your spot. Free day trading class, 45 minutes. I'll give you free coaching, free trial. Here you go, 239-594-3939. My email, you might want to copy that down because it's long. And Winsky at embarkmail.com with a Q in the middle. And my Skype handle is NWINSKI_1. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Any questions, comments?
Norm, that's fantastic stuff. I know you made a lot of money, and I hope the people who are with you made it too. I'll see you in a couple.
I got one more comment on the batting average.
Under a minute.
If you add up the greens and the reds, there were 35 green arrows. That's winners. 9 red ones. Those are losers. And 3 yellow boxes. That's we did nothing. And so you batted about 74%.
Norm, that's a great batting average. We'll see you back in a couple of weeks. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Everybody, take care. Bye.
Okay. Bye.